Hello, and welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway podcast. That's right. Your host and tour guide is Scott Prevett, a healer, hypnotist, and a magician. And your bus driver is Jason Gobelli, also a hypnotist, an entrepreneur, and a spiritual guide. Disclaimer, neither Jason, Scott, or any of our guests here today are licensed professional psychologists or psychiatrists. So please don't make any changes to any medication or treatments that you are currently on based on the conversation that you hear here today. Just hop on the bus and enjoy the ride. Trip with us on the Inner Revelation bus. That's right.
Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway. We are excited to be here today. Unfortunately, Scott can't make it. He's all tied up, but we got the great Hilary Karakoc with us today, all the way from over the other side of the pond. Hilary, how are you? It's great to see you here.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, it's going to be exciting to have you on, Hilary. We're going to have a lot
Yeah,
of fun today.
yeah, definitely.
Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
Okay, Hilary, who are you and what do you do?
Who am I and what I do? What a great question. I'm Hilary Karakoc. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and a therapeutic life coach, and I'm a mum of three grown-up kids. And I've just moved back here permanently to Northern Ireland in the last 6 months, and I'm just creating a base back here for myself, and I'm establishing a clinical practice in person here, as well as doing my Zoom practices throughout the world. I've clients throughout the world.
Nice, nice. So you moved back. Where did you move back from?
From Turkey. So I'm back here permanently.
Nice, nice. Well, it's glad to see you're back home. So let's talk to this about a second. Did your kids come with you, or did you leave them and come back?
Oh no, my kids have been all over the world. So they were all over the world, and then they came back here to Northern Ireland. So I had my son was in China. He was actually in China during COVID, and then he moved back here at that time. I had another son that was um in England, and he moved back. So we all sort of congregated back around each other. So back here. So now that's where we all are permanently. So, but they're all grown up kids. I mean, they're in their 30s now, Jason. So like they're not babies anymore.
Do you have grandkids?
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet. But
Yeah.
you're hoping, huh?
So sometime that would be nice, but it's up to them.
So
Certainly
now
wouldn't
let's
put any
talk.
pressure on them.
Yes, yes. So let's talk more about you. So you said you're a clinical hypnotist and life coach.
Yes.
So what's that all about?
Well, I was 30 years a nurse, and that included working in the hospice as well. And then I took ill health retirement, which was following a bleed in my brain. And I had memory problems and chronic fatigue after that. And it was just me starting my healing journey, which has sort of led to all of this. And I did go back during COVID um, as a nurse just to help out with the vaccinations. And I realized the stress that my colleagues were under at that stage. And I think I hadn't realized the stress of the work whenever I was in it, which probably attributed to the bleed that I ended up taking. But so I went back, and there I was in the middle of all these people who were so extremely stressed. And I wasn't trained at anything at that time, but I really wanted to help them. And my time there resulted in quite a few, let's say, help sessions during the break rooms. So that basically started my journey.
So Hillary, so you were a nurse before you were a hypnotist.
Yes,
So you've always had a heart for helping people.
I think so.
Where did
Yeah.
that come from? What's that all about?
I think that's just always been there, even from just a young child. It was just something in my psyche. Even in my teenage years, I used to go and help out young children in a holiday home, children from backgrounds that couldn't afford a holiday, and we took them up to a holiday home here in Northern Ireland in Portrush and helped to look after them. So it's always been really there in the background, I think.
So when did you have that first, aha moment? Like, wow, I'm really going to be able to impact people's lives.
I think it was just, well, during my nurse training and, even probably before that, but just realized how much you can help people who are in pain, and hypnotherapies and coaching's not that much different because you're helping people in pain. It might not necessarily be physical pain, although I do work with people in chronic pain, but you do help people in pain, and that has just sort of carried on through my journey, really.
So even before you studied hypnosis, wasn't there a little bit of a cross there where you were actually working with people in the mind as you were working with them on their bodies?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're working with people in distress, you're using your presence, you're using your rapport with them to help them, to calm them, and to reduce the stress that they're under. So, yeah, there's always that underlying thing
So,
about it.
so what was it like when you discovered that, wow, not only can I do things outside, but I can really make a big difference inside in the subliminal mind?
Well, I suppose hypnotherapy never really came under my radar really until I was doing all of this healing work on myself. And I trained then whenever I came out of nursing and I was doing all this healing work myself. And then obviously, whenever I went back during COVID and thought, right, I really want to help people here. So I went back and I trained then in therapeutic coaching with a guy called Dr. Alex Hard. He runs the Optimal Health Clinic in London, and it specializes in people with chronic fatigue and ME and fibromyalgia, all of those sorts of issues. And that was a 30-month training, and it was a really comprehensive dive then into NLP and life coaching and hypnotherapy. So that was the first that came under my radar, was hypnotherapy, and that bit really sang to me. I mean, that sort of, it just really resonated with me. Hypnotherapy, wow, this is just great. And then yeah, it was all part of that training then that really sparked all of this for me.
Comprehensive by a guy by the name of Hard. That sounds like the whole thing was hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It wasn't that difficult, let's say.
well, was it easier to pick up the subliminal stuff, the subconscious stuff when you're dealing with the mind, or easier to pick up your nursing stuff?
No, it's something that real because it really sang to me. It just seemed to come naturally to me. And I don't know whether that was all my nursing training and the background that I had that really laid the foundation for all of that. But I definitely, as I say, it just seemed to really take off for me, and that, I found the Mike Mandel Academy sort of around the same time, and I thought, this is something that I really want to do. This is something that really, yeah.
Nice. So now all this, you got all the stuff you've been working on and things like this. Well, do you have a plan where you're taking it? Are you combining the nursing? I noticed you said you do hypnosis with, physical things as well. So are you combining them together, the nursing
No,
with
no,
it?
my nurse, I'm no longer registered as a nurse now because I had to let that go because you have registration here in the UK, you have to be registered. So my registration is now gone, but apart from that, I now work with clients but I work with pain as well because obviously pain is a lot in our mind, because as you know, I mean, you can have your leg cut off and you can still feel the pain in your foot. So where is that? That's that mind-body connection. And I work a lot with mind-body connection. I work a lot with somatic stuff of bringing people back down into their body as opposed to just being in their head. So many clients come and they're just so in their head that it's nearly that they're cut off at the neck and they just don't even remember that they have a body. So
Well,
I do a lot of somatic work to help
yeah,
bring them back into their body, make that connection again.
it seems to me that you're not registered anymore as a nurse, but it still seems like you're still using some of that nursing knowledge that
Well,
you've brought.
that'll always be with me, you know.
Right.
And like we gather all of these tools. That's what we do as hypnotherapists and, life coaches. We gather all of these streams. I mean, I'm trained in EFT, the tapping technique. I'm trained in internal family systems with Dick Swartz, who was the founder of internal family systems, and I've just finished actually a grief course with David Kessler, so it's a grief educator course. So, that sort of ties in with my background as well, because I'm quite okay working with people who are in grief, people, and that comes then from my time of nursing and working in the hospice and working with people who were dying. So, it's not something that well, it comes easily to me, I think, because, I'm quite comfortable in that position.
So that path that you've went on, going from the nursing all the way through, it's all kind of molded together to be who you are.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
And this is who I am, and I'm thankful every day that, that I got past that bleed because a lot of people drop dead with that type of bleed that I had. So I'm here to tell the tale, and I've made a recovery and I'm helping other people on that recovery. So for me, I'm very grateful.
Well, on this path that you've been on, who have been your
Mhm.
mentors?
Well, through the therapeutic coaching, obviously we had great mentors through the therapeutic coaching course, all the teachers from there. And then with being in the Mike Mandel Academy, I mean, so many great people in there. Obviously, I met yourself through that, so that's you're included in that. But so many people who have helped me on this journey, as I say, here I am now.
Well, if you had somebody like that really made an impact that you could name, who's been really instrumental in your life making Hillary who Hillary is?
Well, I would say my parents, basically.
Nice.
It's come from, way back then. They're the people who made me who I am. So it's as far back as that. Yeah.
So it sounds to me it's that heart for others that you were kind of like as a kid that you've had that's like transformed through everything you do.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's definitely helped me become the woman that I am today.
Nice,
Always
nice.
had my face in a book
Well,
when I
what's
was a child. So it was like that, all of those things, because I so love storytelling. I mean, as part of hypnotherapy, storytelling is a massive part for me. So yeah, it's definitely a huge thing. I mean, I always had my face in a book, and then whenever my kids were small, I was always telling them stories and whatever, and that sort of got left aside. And then whenever the hypnotherapy started, that's really, has started up again, all that storytelling, and yeah, it's something that I really loved.
so you've always had your face in the book. What about having your head in the book? You got a book in your head that for us?
I still read loads of books. They're all mostly therapy books now, to be honest, because I just love doing that. But a lot of them help me in doing what I do, as in, like I'm great into, you know, trying to increase my creativity, trying to increase, how my storytelling abilities are. So there's some great books that have helped me with that. And yeah, even Mike's helped me with that, with the graphology, you know, of changing my handwriting so that my creativity would even grow through all of that. And that's a story because when I changed my, when you have the baseline and graphology, and whenever I changed my bottom loops and brought them right back up to the baseline again, that's when I started winning some story competitions and, started writing different books. And yeah, so like it really made a big difference.
So what competition, story competitions have you won?
Well, the ones in my Commandel, I've won a few
Oh
in
yeah.
there. Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah.
What about the books you've written?
Well, I've written the books. They haven't been published yet. I'm still in the process of that, but they are, so like one of them is like a 10 story book of, it's based around a main character and she goes on different adventures and they can help people with things like children and adults. I think it's geared too, so it can help people with things like grief or stress or bullying. So each of the individual stories, are catered towards helping people overcome whatever.
So what's the name of the book?
Well, I haven't got a name yet for the book, so watch this space. It could
So
be Miss Bloom's Adventures, possibly.
nice, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you, so each of these stories actually has a healing message embedded in it.
Mm, hmm. That's right.
Okay, nice. Well, we'll
Yeah.
definitely look forward to seeing that come and get published.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Well,
that's
watch this space.
that's pretty exciting. That's
Yeah.
pretty exciting. So what else do you have planned for the future?
Well, I'm continuing to do the things that I do. I actually do a lot of voluntary work as well. Whenever I finished my training, I actually went and volunteered for a nurse helpline, which was for basically for nurses who had maybe had a really awful shift or they were going through disciplinary procedures or they maybe had even suicidal, some of them. So yeah, it was, a voluntary helpline, but the problem was then the funding for that got cut, which was really unfortunate. So I've no idea where those people reach out to now, which is a bit sad.
So where you were volunteering on the helpline, were you doing NLP or conversational hypnosis with them kind of in the
Well, you weren't
background a little bit
technically
here?
supposed to be doing anything like that. It was basically a listening service. So, technically you weren't doing
Yeah,
that,
okay, but forget
sort of wink,
technically,
wink,
but you probably were, right?
possibly. I couldn't dare to comment. Yeah. So
Nice.
then I also volunteer now there's a group, it's called An Offering. And so every Wednesday night, I write a new meditation for them or a hypnosis guided visualization. And that group, there's probably about 2,000 people in the group. So you get, maybe 40 or 50 people who come along every week and you do a session for them and it's basically for free. Then it's usually people who have chronic fatigue, ME, fibromyalgia, but they're going through a healing journey. But anybody going through a healing journey can join can join that group.
Well, that
Yeah.
probably gets your word out and it's probably gotten you a few clients, I would imagine.
Well, I've only started that in the last 2 months, so yeah, I do have inquiries, let's
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me, knowing who you are and listening to all the things that you've been telling us, Hillary, it seems
Hmm.
to me that it would be hard for you to be there for someone and not want to help when you know that you can.
Mm. Yeah, it's definitely something that I like to do.
So let me ask you, I know you said the kids are adults. Are they following in your footsteps?
No, no, they they tolerate my my hypnotherapy and my attempts to help them, inadvertently help them. I honestly wish that I knew back then, when they were small, all of this, how much different things might have been. But you can only do what you can at the time with the resources that you have. So, yeah.
Well, if you knew differently back then, you wouldn't be who you are now. So we
Yeah,
just we'll just accept it the way that it is. How's
I
that?
have accepted that
Yeah.
exactly.
So let me ask you, how do they feel about it? How does the family feel about all your hypnosis adventures?
Yeah, I think they're very proud,
Nice.
like when I tell them, obviously you can't tell them what you've done with a client, but you can tell them that you've probably helped someone or whatever. So I think they're very proud. So,
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Have any of them reached out? Have any family members reached out for help and said, "Hey, can you help me with this?"
No, because I don't think it's a place for us to do that to family members. I help them inadvertently, but I don't know about sitting down for a full hypnosis session with them. Yeah, for me, it's like, here's somebody might help you, or here's something that might help you. But yeah, no, it's not something that I've personally sat down to do with them.
No, I understand. So you said you're a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, and a life coach.
Mhm.
So what's the difference?
Well, they complement each other. Life coach for me incorporates all of those other bits of training that I've had, the EFT, the IFS, the NLP, all of those things. So it sort of incorporates all of those things together. So yeah.
Nice, nice. So, well, listen, you got all kinds of things going on. How do our viewers get a hold of you?
Be so you'll be able to find me on Willow Therapeutic Coaching, which is the name of my business. And I have a YouTube channel as well. And you can find me, I have a few free things on Insight Timer. If you know that app, it's a free meditation app that you can use. And as I say, it's totally free, but you can obviously buy a different part of it, but definitely you can use it for free. So you can find me there as well.
So, where did Willow come from?
Well, I love gardening. I love things to do with nature. And for me, whenever you break off a branch of a willow tree and you just plunge it into the ground, it regrows. So for me, it was to do with regeneration and growth. So for me, that's where willow came from.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, do you feel attached to trees and feel that trees are healing? Is that part of who you are?
I love trees and I love all the metaphors surrounded with plants and nature and yeah, yeah,
And speaking
definitely.
of metaphors, are you using quite a bit of metaphor in your book with your stories with Mrs.
That's
Blue?
basically what they are. They're just total metaphors.
So each
Yeah.
story is a metaphor.
Each story is a metaphor. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Are you doing
Yes.
a lot of loops?
Well, have you not noticed?
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely use a lot of loops. Yeah.
nice,
Yeah. Because
wonderful.
because even in, my training, then the loop finished for me whenever I started helping the nurses because it started for me wanting to help my colleagues and my nurses, and then it ended up with me all the way then to helping the nurse helpline. So yeah, that sort of closed that loop for me. And there's plenty of other open loops now for me
And
to
you've even
get
helped
through.
yourself along the line by
Oh, I
helping others and
definitely help
helping
myself.
yourself. Yeah.
Definitely help myself. I mean, that was, as I say, that was part of all of this healing journey was just to help myself. You know, I have a very strong morning routine that, sort of sets me up and keeps me grounded, you know, in order to help everybody because I think you have to have something, that grounds you in your life whenever you're giving out for other people. So I have a very strong morning routine that,
So what's that like?
well, it's a big gratitude practice. I'm very thankful every day, and I have a meditation every morning. And then I do a thing called morning pages. I don't know if you know morning pages. It's a girl called Julie Cameron. She wrote a book called The Artist's Way, and she recommends that you do what she calls morning pages. So you write in your journal for 3 sides of the pages, and you just keep writing. You just get everything out and, put it down on paper. And sometimes it's very difficult to do that, to just keep writing and writing. You don't lift your pen, you just continue to do your writing, but it's just to allow, all of that to come out, yeah, from your brain.
I find when I do writing like that, I can't read it later. Do you ever have that
It
problem?
doesn't matter because I never actually read it again. I just sort of spit it all out, and it all gets out then. So it does. So yeah. Yeah. So I don't. So that's a big thing for me in the morning, and obviously stretching my body. And then what I always do is within 15 minutes of getting up, I go out to the light and get the light into my eyes. It sort of helps your circadian rhythm to help start to kick off your day so that you end up getting a good night's sleep that night because you've started your circadian rhythm in the right way. And I walk out barefoot onto my grass, and that helps with the grounding as well. So that's a real connection with the earth, is like you're really grounded then.
Do you ever suggest any of these things to your clients?
Oh, I do. Yes, definitely. Definitely do.
And do you find out when you're working with some of those clients, do you ever have that where that energy kind of spills over and it's like, oh, maybe I need to do something to calm off because it gets pretty heavy?
It it can get heavy, but again, if with all of those practices that I do, like I feel very grounded in what I do. And I think that practice has come from a long time ago. It's not even just a more recent thing because I do remember when I was nursing and it was, you had a really horrible shift and maybe had seen something really awful. I mean, I grew up here in Northern Ireland during the Troubles and saw some pretty horrendous things, coming through the door as a nurse. So I remember whenever I came home, I used to have a practice of physically wiping my feet on the doormat as I came through the door. It's like I'm letting go of the day. So even then, even then I had practices that, were helping me.
Yeah, you were doing metaphor before you even knew what metaphor was.
Absolutely. That's it.
Wonderful. Well, Hillary, do you want to add anything else?
No, I think I'm I'm just so grateful that I get to do this work. Honestly, Jason, it's just something that I'm just so grateful that every day that I get up and I have, my granddad he lived until he was like 94. He was a fantastic, absolutely fantastic man. And he had beside his bed a little plaque that said, actually have it on my desk here. Yeah, I do have it on my desk. So it's it's this little plaque. It was this little plaque. My daughter made the rest of this for me at one stage because this plaque had sort of fallen apart. But it says on it, God gives us still one more chance with the birth of another day.
Nice.
And, whether you believe in God or not, or the universe or whatever it is, we have a chance every morning when we wake up. We have another chance. No matter what has gone before, we have another chance. And I'm just so grateful that I have another chance to be here and to do this work. And it's something I'm so grateful for.
Oh, I'm with you. Sometimes I have to start my day over in the middle.
Yeah, there could be that too.
Anyway, so yeah, it's been a lot of fun, Hillary. It's great having you here, but I'm not through with you yet because I have one more question for you.
Oh, do you have another question?
Yes, I got
Well,
the
here,
big question.
I have a question for you because if I've now reached celebrity status from being on your podcast, I would say that I should have had those yellow M&Ms in the green room, and I'm wondering what happened to those, Jason. They didn't seem to turn up for my green room, that, my dressing room.
You know
So
what?
what
I haven't
happened?
reached
What happened to
celebrities.
those?
I haven't reached celebrity status myself.
It's funny because today is actually David Attenborough. Do you know David Attenborough? It's his
No.
100th birthday today. He's
Nice.
basically a natural treasure in the UK.
Nice.
He's like what does he do? He's a broadcaster and a biologist and a natural historian, and he does fantastic things for the planet because he tells people about different animals and plants and all the rest of it. I mean, you should look him up. He's an absolutely wonderful man. And he went to Glastonbury one year because he's very big into helping to save the planet. And he didn't want the people in Glastonbury to be using the plastic bottles anymore. He wanted them, because it's been damaging all of the oceans and everything. So he went to Glastonbury. And whenever he's in Glastonbury, they asked him, because they have all these wonderful artists from all around the world in Glastonbury, all these famous singers and bands and everything. And in Glastonbury, they asked him, well, what do you want in your green room, in your dressing room? And David Attenborough asked for a cheese sandwich. And I thought, isn't that wonderful? All of these people ask for, purple M&Ms and this and really specific things. And all he wanted was a cheese sandwich. So happy birthday, Sir David Attenborough, for
Very,
today. Imagine
very.
reaching 100. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, it is. My father-in-law's 100 years
Yeah.
old. He lives with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. My aunt reached 100 last year, and
Nice.
she was an incredible woman too. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, your last question, Hillary. Your
Go
last
on.
question. What are your words of wisdom for our
What are
viewers?
my words of wisdom? My words of wisdom was, well, I think it really has to come from my granddad, doesn't it? That we have one more day. We have one more chance with the birth of another day. So take all the chances that you have because they're given to you every single day.
Wow. Nice, beautiful. Well put. Well said. It's been wonderful having you on the on
Jason,
the
it's
interview.
so lovely to see you. I'm
Same
sorry
here.
Scott missed us.
Yeah,
Say
he just
hello to
texted
him.
me just now. So I think something must have happened, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, it's great to have you on. We're glad you're here, and it's wonderful having you on the show. We certainly appreciate it. And for our viewers out there, we're glad you're here too. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Please like us, please subscribe. If you like us, give us a thumbs up. If you think we're assholes, we don't care. Just give us a thumbs down. We're just glad you're here, and we hope to see you next week. Thanks for coming.
Wow, what a trip. Thanks for taking that journey with us today. Please like us, share us, and enlighten us with your views of the topics we drove into today. We appreciate you and love reading your comments. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back on the bus next week. That's right.